right, here we go. I'm your host, LY. You've tuned into God's CONVO. Thank you for the thunderous round of applause. I'm just living in this moment right now, and I just want to let everybody know that I've made it back to Texas. I am in Temple, Texas right now, and I've awoke, and I'm alive, and I'm doing well. And I've got a praise report, which is really just a confirmation of what I already know and knew to be true, but I do want to share it with you for all those that listen and all those that give a rip. I did my blood work, I believe it was Monday in California, and then I got my lab results, and everything was as I believed, as I said. Everything was in range where it was supposed to be, and I just thought I would share that with you, just to let you know that we believe, therefore we speak. We don't do it the other way around. We don't speak to try to believe. What are you persuaded of this morning? What is it that your heart has established as truth within you? Because it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks or believes or even says. What matters is what you think, believe, and say. And what you think, believe, and say is what's going to basically determine the outcome of your life. It doesn't matter where you're at in life right now. It doesn't matter if you're in the lowest of the low or the highest of the high. You're either blessed or you're either cursed with what you believe and what you speak and how you think. It all works together. And so I'm learning this more and more. You know, here's the thing, at 53 years old, you never come to a time in your life where you think, well, I know all that, or I've heard that before. Well, it doesn't matter if you've heard it before. There's a scripture in Peter where he says, I will not be negligent to remind you, even though you've heard these things and are established in these things, I will not stop telling you. Why? Because we live in a world that is so contrary to what our heart is expecting and what we're believing for. Unless, of course, you've been conformed to the pattern of this world. In other words, you've allowed everything on the outer part of your life to determine what you see on the inside. And if that's where you're at, don't beat yourself up. Don't kick yourself in the butt and don't get mad. Well, you can get mad, but don't think that you're alone first and foremost, because we've all been there. We have all come from that place, and when I say we, I'm speaking of myself. I'm not speaking of anybody but me, because I'm the one that's here talking to you, but I have understood something about thinking the right way, speaking the right way, believing the right way. It all works together. It's like your life, your body, the very life of that is in you is a tree. And if the tree is good, then it can only bring forth good fruit. But if the tree is bad, and get the connotation that I'm talking about you being a bad person, I'm just saying the belief system in you. If the belief system in you is bad, then it will not bring forth good. It can't. Jesus made it very clear in his Sermon on the Mount. A good tree cannot bring forth bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bring forth good fruit. And that's why I love this revelation when he says there's one good, and that is God. In other words, if God is good, God only brings forth good. And we have to accept that. We have to believe that. We have to see that God is a good God, and that God lives inside of us. So if we realize that this good God, or this system of belief within me, is a good system, then only good's going to come forth. Jesus said it like this: out of the abundance of our heart, our mouth will speak. And so what's in your heart? What have you been sowing into your heart? Have you been sowing discord, doubt, fear? Have you allowed the messages of the world to determine what you deem to be true in your life? Or Are you looking at a greater truth? Maybe it's an unseen truth right now in your physical realm, but it's very true on the inside of you. Listen, Paul made it clear that he wasn't trying to get people to become complete. His ambition in life was to reveal that you are already complete. And so, as a man thinketh, so is he. The me I see, and I'm sitting right here in front of this round mirror. The person that I'm looking at is the person that I'll be. Who do you see when you look in the mirror? Who is it? And I'm not talking the physical. I'm talking inwardly. I'm talking where your thoughts are, where your deep-seated thoughts, your emotions. Who is it that you really see when you look into the mirror? Are you happy with that person? Is that person moved by all the outer circumstances, or are you like that strong tower that is fortified, that no matter what, you remain steadfast? You stay walking in your truth, living in your truth, doing your truth, believing your truth, seeing your truth, speaking your truth. See, Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and what will happen? The truth shall make you free. And so, even with my own body, my own physical body, when the doctors said I was fortunate that I got in when I got in because I approximately had 2 weeks to live, when 58% of my white blood cells were infected with blast, when I had to come to a place that I knew that God healed my body. And there was no more that the doctor could do for my body at this point. I accepted what was done initially, but I drew a line in the sand, so to speak. And I remember the day I did it in the hospital room at San Diego State University. And I said, I'm not gonna cross over that line. I have drawn a line in the sand, and I have said, I will live and I will not die. That God has healed my body, that my body is healed. And do you know, by standing on that and by putting myself in position to listen to the inner voice within me, everything started working for my favor. Everything started working out. Now, let me say this. I'm not any more special than you. God doesn't have favorites. God's not a respecter of persons. Faith is not a respecter of persons. Love is not a respecter of persons. However you want to define it, your inner voice is not a respecter of persons. The universe is not a respecter of persons. Wherever you're at this morning, wherever your mind is, you got to understand that what one person is able to receive, you're able to receive also. You're also able to receive that. And so, I think a lot of times what hinders us the most is that we look at our performance and we think, well, I haven't been good enough this week, so I kind of even deserve bad things to happen. And that's not right. That is stinking thinking. That'll put you in the gutter real quick. That'll make you feeling sorry for yourself, finding fault with yourself. And if you find fault with yourself, then guess what? You're going to find fault in others. That's just the way it is. The way you treat yourself, that is the way you will treat others. What you are projecting out, you see, is what you see on the inside. And so you ought to tell yourself that you love yourself, that you care about yourself, that you think good of yourself. Because by doing so, it empowers you to love others, to think good of others, to empower others. If you have forgiven yourself of any wrong or every wrong that you've ever done, then guess what? It liberates you to see everybody else forgiven. If you're holding judgment against somebody else, it's because you're still holding judgment against yourself. Because in essence, we are all one. See? So, what is the production center in you producing? Are you producing thoughts of life? Or are you producing thoughts that take life? So what do you mean by that? Well, let me just give you a little example here. And you may think, oh, is it that serious? It's that serious. Trust me. This will be the life of me. This is going to take my life. You know, I'll die before I'm 50. You know, people say all these crazy things. Why would you say something like that? Don't say those things. Your words are seeds. And the more that your subconscious hears these things, your subconscious cannot reject those things. It has to embrace what you say, what you think. What your conscious mind thinks, your subconscious cannot reject. And so that's the negative side. But the positive side is think good thoughts. Thoughts that are from above. And then your subconscious or your heart will receive those things. And then by nature, you'll just bring those things forth. Why? Because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The me I see is the me I'll be. I'm your host, LY. I hope that blesses you. And I've got an interview today with TED Talks, and I'm just expecting to just walk in that and own that, and my voice be heard, my heart be heard, because ultimately my heart is to help people. I want to help people. I want to do anything in my power to help people, be it words, be it my life as giving, however, in any which way, form, or fashion. I just love to see people come alive, radiate. I love to see the light bulb go on, the spark go in their eye when I talk to them or when I share my story. So hopefully what I'm sharing with you may inspire you also to share your story, because your story is unique. Your story is powerful. And don't ever think that you don't have a story. You have such a powerful story, and you are such an amazing person. And I just want to speak life over you right now and just declare that you are the apple of God's eye, that you are loved and you are cherished, that you are protected and provided for, that no weapon formed against you prospers. And you are kept by God's divine power, and the universe is working for you, helping you get from point A to point B. There is nothing impossible for you, friend. Not one thing shall be held back from you. If you can believe it, you can possess it. If you believe it, you possess it. Did you hear me? Don't let anyone or anything tell you different. You are blessed. Say that with me. Say, I am blessed. I am blessed. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.